Hey guys, it's Adam Rose, Vice President and Senior Loan Officer of Western Ohio Mortgage here in Sydney, Ohio, and this is another episode of the Mortgage Guy podcast. And this week is another market update, what's happening around the industry, and there's a lot happening. So last week I had a gentleman on, Kevin Risk. We started talking about delinquency rates. That's something I want to touch on. I'm going to touch on what's going on with the newest little lawsuit. I say little because not a lot of people know about it, unless you're into the industry. So we shall see how that's going to impact you as a consumer. And that's going to be the main discussion here. And I have a feeling that I'll be going into that for a little while. My goodness, I could talk about that for a long time. It's a little aggravating, actually. So let's talk about delinquency rates and stuff that's going on in the market. So we had mentioned this on last week's podcast that serious delinquencies are on the rise, and early stage delinquencies are on the rise. So serious delinquencies are anything that's 90 days and over past due, okay? 90 days and over. So keep that in mind. So it climbed by 7,000 cases to 455,000 in total in the country. That's crazy. We were talking about how there weren't a ton foreclosures hitting the market. So some people may just be keeping these alive, staying consistent on 90 days past due, and then they're not allowing it to go to foreclosure. They're pushing the envelope a little bit. Early stage delinquencies, which are 30 and 60 days past due, are up 5.1%. So it's just odd. But those numbers, they actually are actually at 2019 levels prior to everybody being in the 2.5 market, when COVID hit. And so we have a lot of people that, and I don't have the statistics on what loan types or pools of money is in serious delinquency. Could it be the 2.5% rates, guys? I don't know. Could it be the 5s, the 6s, the 7s that are currently in play today? Not sure. They don't release that data. They don't give that to us. They're just giving us broad brushstroke information. But on that, again, the foreclosure rate's down. Again, foreclosure rates, they say, are at 2019 levels, pre-pandemic levels. So I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Something's going on. But it's something, guys, when you're getting your pre-approvals, especially in this high-rate environment, you got to be ready, right? You got to be ready. As I mentioned in the last podcast, you get in trouble, you get into a divorce situation, you get into a lost job situation, health issues, something. I know we need a place to live. You always need a place to live. And the rents are very, very difficult. But do not allow this thing to go to foreclosure. It'll have such an impact on your credit score for the future. It's quite a challenge for you to get back into the home buying process again. 2 years, 3 years. It can take a while. So let's not let that happen. Okay. And so on that topic, let's talk about the market in general in regards to listings, right? We've had such a supply and demand issue still, but we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence in regards to listing activity. So it's month over month, we went up across the country 1.4%, which is the highest month over month increase since February of 22. So a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Good Lord, it's November now. So, so that's a good thing. We're seeing some more listing activity. So let's keep that rocking, and that'll help out our buyers in regards to getting them into the homes, not as many multiple offer situations. The more houses on the market, the better off we're going to be. So on that topic, why are people doing it, right? Because we have a lot of pushback on where rates are and the costs and everything like that. To quote the Redfin chief, which I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, their chief economist, Daryl Fairweather. So many Americans have substantial equity in their homes, which we all know, right? And some are choosing to liquidate, even if it means letting go of their favorable mortgage rates. They're concerned about potential home prices declining if rates persist. Now, while we do anticipate rates are going to stay up for a little while, again, like I have mentioned, I feel then there's some statistics that say the Mortgage Bankers Association thinks in quarter 4 of next year, 2024, rates will be at 6.1. Fed thinks 6.7. Goldman Sachs thinks 6.8. There is no crystal ball. We don't really know. We have to look at trends and what's going on in the market. So we do think they're going to persist. But as he says, we also predict sustained high prices into the coming year. The current tight housing supply means even minor increases in listing activity in listings attract eager buyers, which boost sales. So again, it's supply and demand issue, right? The less supply we have on the market, it is going to keep those prices higher. So as we get some shifts and get some more listings going on, it'll settle those prices a little bit. Now, you're not going to see a massive drop, guys. The people out there that still think there is a massive bust coming on valuations, I personally think you are incorrect. We're going to keep this new high watermark. You might see some minor changes, right? 1%, 3%, nothing major. Nothing major. So on this topic, so when people are getting pre-approved here, guys, more buyers are backing out is the next statistic to go with these new listings. So about 16% fell through in September alone. 16%. That's 53,000 home purchase agreements fell through. That's crazy, right? Guys, you're in contract. You're in contract for a reason. Do things happen during the process? Yes, they absolutely do. Employment histories are messed up. They don't come up with their assets, whatever it might be. But we're not talking about loan denials. Okay, we're talking about buyers simply saying, I don't want this house anymore. Well, I really think we need to stop the window shopping, guys, and we have to be prepared. I've been preaching this for a long time. No square peg round hole. Don't call me on Friday night because you have to put an offer in for Saturday morning. You're not ready, right? Now, could you still do it? Sure. Yeah, but you're not prepared to purchase yet. You need to get ready. Prepare for that. Prepare for the expenses. Talk to your mortgage lender. So here are the top 3 reasons. Increased mortgage payments. So mortgage payments have risen, right? It's a higher rate environment. Making buyers more cautious to ensure they're getting a good deal. And if buyers don't feel they're getting a good value, they're backing out of the deal. I've got news for you guys. We're in a high rate environment, high price environment. There are no good deals out there. You're jumping into the market to own a home. The good deal is going to occur when we're able to refinance all these mortgages that are in these high 7s and touching 8%. Like I said, the Mortgage Bankers Association thinks in Q4 we're going to be in the low 6s, and expectations is Q1 of 25 they're going to be back into the 5s. That's where you're going to get your value. Buying down rates, you can do that. Talk to your lender, of course, about how that works, how that operates, what's the true savings there, because in 18 months you're going to be looking at refinancing, 12 to 18 months. So it's hard to find a good deal, right? It's just a different market that we're in. You got to find a home that suits you. Jump in, refinance it later, okay? So you can feel the benefit of home ownership. Skyrocketing insurance premiums. No, real fast on the increased mortgage payments. You should not be caught off guard, ever, all right? If you're pre-approved for $250,000, you should have a pretty good idea after speaking to your lender what that payment looks like. So don't enter into a contract and then 2 days later you say, poof, man, that payment, I don't like it. I should back out. Be prepared, all right? Be ready. Be ready. Skyrocketing insurance premiums. So yes, I had an insurance agent in here, I don't know, 2 months ago. And this is a common problem, right? Insurance premiums are going up, just like property taxes, which we talked about before. Property taxes are absurd, but the cost of insurance has significantly increased, adding to the financial burden and making transactions less appealing. So shop your insurance as much as humanly possible. Going with a very large company may not be beneficial. Going with an independent agent might be more beneficial, right? Instead of using a captive agent. So shop it to death. Let's see what we can find. Okay, so don't be closed-minded about sticking with where you're at with your car insurance. Okay. Be open-minded about shopping it so we can find the best price. Disagreements on repairs. This is a big one, right? Buyers and sellers are having disagreements on necessary, keyword necessary repairs, causing transactions to fall apart. So when you're going through these homes, guys, speak with your real estate agent when you're going through these properties, and let's start marking up and let's make the red flags list of, hey, this is going to get dinged, this could get dinged, whatever it is. What are majors? What are minors? All right, you got to be prepared for doing minor repairs. You're a homeowner, right? You're going to be a homeowner, so you're going to have some responsibility on yourself to fix some drywall patching or whatever it might be. Minor maintenance. Focus on the majors, right? Our HVAC's got an issue. Our roofs are leaking. We have a plumbing issue. Our hot water heater's on the fritz. Whatever. That's what you need to focus in on, guys. So pay attention to that. Highly recommend a whole house inspection. That way we know what we're getting ourselves into when we're buying this house, so we can try to prevent more. I I don't want to say more, try to prevent backing out of contracts, okay? Okay, so I got through that little piece of the market update. So what I really, really want to hammer down here, guys, and what's happening, there is a very, 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 very large lawsuit, and it's not even about the dollars, okay? It's not about the dollars at all. A jury awarded $1.8 billion with a B in a real estate lawsuit, okay? So it's a class action in a nutshell, and I'm not going to name who's in it. You can look it up. In a nutshell, a bunch of sellers got together. Well, a bunch of sleazebag attorneys, of course. No offense to all attorneys out there, but there are some questionable ones. Got together and said, hey, we're going to start this class action because we feel that the commission rates of which realtors are charging these sellers to list these properties are absurd. They're just crazy too high. And we're going to get some of that money back. That's how it starts, right? So basically, they all get together and say that you've overcharged, and they went after a couple of large real estate companies. And due to this verdict of this $1.8 billion case, those same lawyers are, of course, it's going to be a snowball effect, guys, are suing even more. They just named, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 new very large real estate brokerages in the country for another lawsuit. So the money's just going to keep flowing on these class actions, and it's not going to stop. Now, how these guys won this case is beyond me. I really don't know how they won. But here's the situation, okay? They're claiming that the seller is paying the buyer's agent commission, okay? So let's break this down here. So let's say you're about to list your house, and I'm a seller, okay, and I'm talking to my listing agent, and they say, hey, it's the cost for our services for listing your home is, I don't know, 6%. Again, this varies, okay? This varies. So let's say it's 6%, and you agree, and I agree to it. So yep, sounds good. Let's do that. In that 6%, when another real estate agent brings a buyer to the table, basically what's happened is they're doing a commission split with that buyer's agent. So I, as a seller, I have agreed to pay my listing agent 6% to sell my house. What they do with that commission has nothing to do with me as a seller. I've agreed to that percentage, right? Make sense? So the listing agent splits with the buyer's agent. Everybody's happy. And the reason they do that is so a buyer can be represented by an agent. They get that compensation. They brought that. They sold the home. Fantastic. Everybody moves on with their day. So all these sellers got together and say, hey, we're being overcharged for this. And here's why I don't understand how they won the case. How does someone say they're being overcharged for a service when they don't have to use that service? All right, I'm sure maybe I'll get some comments on this. All right, but if I'm a seller and someone comes to me and they say, hey, it's 6% to list your house, I'm gonna say, nope, I'm good. It's too much for me, too rich for my blood. I'll do it for 4. And if they don't take it, they don't take it, right? Or I could sell it myself. Or I could find another brokerage that might do it for a little bit more aggressive price. I don't have to use the service. It is an option, not a requirement. So how they won this case, I don't know. So I'm sure there's smarter people out there than me that know more information about this case on why they won. But that's my take in a nutshell. How this is going to affect everybody. All right, so the ruling and basically how real estate agencies are trying to change and adapt, should I say, to this ruling that happened, because this is going to be a snowball effect across the country, I think, is they're saying, hey, sellers don't have to pay the buyer's commission. Okay, so now it's going to resort into, hey, if I'm a buyer's agent, I'm going to have this conversation with my client that's shopping for houses saying, hey, it's very possible that if we find a house, they're not going to pay me. So they're going to have to come to an agreement to have the buyer pay their agent out of pocket, right? It's going to cause a couple of things. One, it could cause some issues with their cash to close, right? Because we could catch a surprise if I pre-approve someone and they say they have $10,000 in assets, they need $10,000 to close, and then come flying in, I get a contract. Now they got to pay their buyer's agent $2,000, $3,000, whatever it might be. That can cause a cash to close issue, right? So when that occurs and buyers are like, no, I'm going to pass, I'm just going to look for myself, this is going to put a lot of buyer's agents in a very, very tough position. Could very well limit how many buyer's agents are out there in the market. We might be seeing an exodus of agents It's very possible, which is not a good thing for the buyer. Let me tell you, it's just not. Okay, you need to go in represented. So let's say now that we have fewer buyer's agents, and the buyer's like, hey, I'm not paying an agent to do this. I'm going to do it on my own. They're going to come to us, the lender, for help. And unfortunately, I have to break it to you, that is a license violation. And so I cannot help you negotiate contracts. So buyer, you're on your own, unfortunately. So they're going to go into these, and the ripple effect that's going to happen is we don't have a buyer's agent. They're going to go directly to the listing agent. Now we're going to have nothing but dual agency. All right, so dual agency, some people are a fan of, some people are not. What that is where the listing agent is basically representing both buyer and seller. But the problem is with that, and is you can't truly represent both parties for the best interest of both parties, right? So it's a challenge. Some states don't even allow, from my understanding, dual agency. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out for those states. But that's a concern, right? I mean, so if I'm a listing agent and I have a buyer that comes up and represented, okay, let's say we have multiple offers. I have a buyer that puts in an offer for $100,000 conventional. I got who's not represented. I got another buyer coming in here who's represented by a real estate agent who has the exact same offer. The listing agent is going to choose, right? I'm not saying it's not their responsibility to choose. It's the seller's. But it's very possible that they're going to start leaning to people that are unrepresented. Might be easier for them to get the deal done, right? It could go the other way. I'm not sure. I mean, there's just so many things that could happen here with this. And it's going to shake up the market a lot. And it's a little concerning on what this is going to look like in the next couple of years. And I think there's a lot of brokerages that are already making adjustments to this. So heads up, people. All right, heads up. Real estate agents, I'm on your side. I think this is a dumb ruling. I have no idea how NAR lost this battle, to be honest. So had a couple of conversations with some local agents about it, and I just don't understand it. So, okay, on that topic. So because of this fun lawsuit that has occurred, real estate stocks, all right, we're talking about companies like Zillow, we're talking about companies like Redfin, Open Door, places like that, have fallen dramatically. Now, the weird thing is about it is they're not really a commission-based companies because they really work on marketing, and that's their primary stream of income. But Zillow's stocks fell 6.9%. Open Door fell 9%. Redfin dropping 9%. My goodness, I mean it's brutal out there. So this is going to have quite a lasting effect. I'm interested to see what some of these real estate agencies across the country, some of the large companies, come up with to battle this. But be aware of it, of what's going on, and to our local brokerages, whatever you need. If you have questions on my take, hopefully this helps you understand where I stand. And if you want to have a conversation about it and some ideas, I'm more than happy to talk to you about it and what your plans are. But something's going to unfortunately have to change, some additional verbiage in contracts, some brokerage agreements, or buyer broker agreements. We're going to have to start going on. So, guys, in our local markets, we have a lot of real estate agents, and they need your support. So make sure you are contacting them and having conversations about what's going on. But please do support them. They do have your best interest in heart or in mind, and they're gonna do their best for you and get you the best deal possible. And just remember, real estate agents, think of them as an attorney. They are your buffer between you and your seller, and they go to bat for you. Okay, so that's what they do. That's it. That's all I got for you guys this week. I have a lot more coming up, a lot more data statistics. We're going to have a couple more guests over here in the next couple of weeks. But that's it for this week. Catch us next week. All right, guys. We're going to have, like I said, a ton of new statistics that are coming out. I'm getting stuff every single day about market changes. So we're going to continue down this path to be educated about what's going on. But remember to subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, guys. And we will see you next week.